We'll be starting our special meeting agenda, San Bernardino International Airport Authority Board. This time we'll have a call to order, and we'll immediately, if there's nothing to bring up in closed session or public comments, and I don't see any public comments. Public comments, none? All right.
Going once.
Let's go ahead and recess to closed session. We'll return here for our open. Is that yours or mine? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call to order our open session. At this time, I will ask Councilman Sanchez to please lead us in the flag salute.
Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You okay?
Thank you, Councilman Sanchez. Appreciate your help on that. And we'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Please state your name for the record. Member from the City of Colton.
Jack Woods.
Member from the City of Loma Linda.
Ovi Popescu.
Member from the County of San Bernardino, 3rd District.
Don Rao.
Member from the City of Highland.
Penny Lilburn.
Members from the City of San Bernardino.
John Valdivia.
Theodore Sanchez.
Thank you.
Very good. Are there any items to be added or deleted?
No items, sir.
Very good. Moving on to conflict of disclosure, or conflict of interest disclosure.
Mayor.
Are there any to,
Mr. Mayor, if I could,
yes.
we do need to report out of closed session.
Oh, my apologies. Please, if you would.
To report out of closed session, items on the agenda, item C of closed session, items A, B, C, and D were not discussed in closed session. As to items E and F, there was no reportable action taken in closed session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Conflict of interest disclosures, any? Seeing none. Moving on to informational items. Mr. Burrows.
So being its last meeting of the year, I will make this short for once. So on behalf of your staff, we do want to wish you all a very, very safe and happy holiday season, a very Merry Christmas.
Same to
And
you.
we encourage all of you to continue, like me, to do your holiday shopping extremely late so that FedEx and UPS can derive the benefit and
There you
support
go.
your airport. So again, thank you for your leadership, and it's a pleasure to work for you.
Thank you. And we're really excited to be part of this team, and we're send our season's greetings to our community, the taxpayers that we represent, certainly all the airport staff here. Merry Christmas to all of our team here, and we wish you safe holidays. Moving on to our commission consent items. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
Yes.
I'll second.
Jack? Oh, is that?
Yes.
Okay. Motion and a second by Councilman Sanchez. Any other questions, discussion? If not, are there any objections? All right, so consensus, and it's so ordered. Item I, commission action items. Item number 7, consider and adopt proposed budget adjustments for fiscal year 2019 to 2020. Our staff can present the report.
Yes, good afternoon. With this budget adjustment, net impact on budget adjustment is 0. We are increasing jet fuel sales by 200,000, and for the same amount, we are increasing the control tower contract for 200,000, and the net budget adjustment impact would be 0. And we recommend to approve this item.
Are there any questions from our commission members? Is there a motion for approval?
I'll move it.
Okay.
The second. All right, and if members would please, if there's no objections? All right, the item carries. Item number 8, receive and file annual independent financial audit report of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority. And we'll await the staff presentation.
Yes, this is the financial audit report for June 30, 2019, and we have Brad Williver, the partner from our audit firm, here to do the presentation.
Good afternoon. It's nice to be with you again today. We are here to present the results of our financial audit for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2019. We did earlier today meet with the Finance and Audit Committee and go over these results and speak in more detail about this, but we wanted to give the full commission here a report on the results of our audit. And with that, I'm going to actually introduce you to Veronica Hernandez, who's the senior auditor who is in charge of this audit engagement and is intimately familiar with and was aware of everything that I discussed in the Finance Committee meeting. And she is going to walk through a presentation, and then we'll entertain any questions you may have at that time.
Okay. So our audit objective was to express an opinion on management's financial statements. We gathered and evaluated sufficient appropriate audit evidence to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free of material misstatement. And we also gave an opinion as to whether those financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The auditing standards that we followed were generally accepted auditing standards and generally accepted government auditing standards. Management's responsibilities are the financial statements. Their responsibilities are to have a complete, accurate financial record and a comprehensive framework of those internal controls. And the government body has a fiduciary duty to ensure that management fulfills the obligations for internal controls and financial reporting. Our responsibilities as auditors is to obtain reasonable assurance that those financial statements are free of material misstatement, to examine on a test basis the evidence supporting those amounts and disclosures, to assess the accounting principles used, the estimates made, and evaluate the overall financial statement presentation, and ultimately express an opinion over those financial statements. Our final opinion over the financial statement was an unmodified opinion. The financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. All significant accounting policies have been consistently applied. Estimates appear reasonable and disclosures have been properly reflected. We also expressed an opinion over the single audit report over federal awards, and we expressed an unmodified opinion with no findings. Thank you. Questions?
Very good. Commission members, are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I do have one question. On the long-term debt section, on our agenda packet, it's page 54. It appears to be page 11 when it talks about long-term debt. And it was originally a loan from back in 2004 and 5 from IVDA, which was consolidated and then paid down.
I'm sorry, which page?
On my agenda, it's page 54. On the item, it looks like page 11, and the heading is long-term debt. The top of that page talks about capital assets, additions, construction.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of the page is long-term.
Oh. Yes, so what was the question?
So the question is, it looks like the loan original amount was $5.2 million. It was consolidated over the years, and that there's an outstanding amount that's owed of $1.8 million. And it just says in there that no payments have been made on the full amount and that there's still an outstanding amount. So were payments made in this fiscal year and last year?
So the payment wasn't made in like June. Usually, like, the payment, we make it in June, but this time, this fiscal year, the payment it will be made this year. But we have been making payments every year, 570,000.
But we didn't make it this year.
We didn't make in current fiscal, yes.
We skipped the $500,000?
No,
we
it got,
didn't really
the timing of the
skip it.
payment carried into the next fiscal year, and so therefore it's not reflected on this. So when it was restated, the actual payment schedule went to a fall payment. So it actually gets paid in the fall.
Okay,
So that's what the reflection.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Just to follow up on that, so the balance on that is 3.9 million?
No, 3.9 million was the balance when we consolidated the note.
Okay, so what is the balance now?
1.8 million, that's
1.8.
outstanding, yes,
Okay.
yes.
And nothing prevents us, other than our ability to do so, in paying back at one time if we wanted to do so?
Correct, no
Okay.
prepayment penalty.
Okay. Well, it wasn't that I was asking, just curious as to, if we had the money, the IVD could go ahead and give that money to the airport in one big lump sum amount, if they choose to.
Other way around, SBIAA owes IVDA, Now, if what
Correct.
you're saying is if
You're
IVDA
right.
wanted to,
Correct.
do a forbearance, that's an IVDA decision. If SBIA wants to pay the balance to IVDA early, it can do so without penalty.
Okay.
But it's a 2% interest rate, is that correct?
It's at LAIF, yes.
Yeah.
It's LAIF rate right now, yes.
And just a general statement, we met as a finance committee, and we went over, and we had a number of questions about the budget and the process, just so everyone is aware of what we transpired ahead of this.
Okay, very good. Are there any more commission comments or questions? This is a receive and file. I want to send my deep appreciation to our staff, our finance team, and certainly our auditors for the very good work you're doing here, and we appreciate it. This is one of the cleanest reports we've had in years, and we're excited to announce that. This is good news for the operation of our airport, and we're very grateful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 9, the status of the business plan. Mr. Burrows?
Okay, so on this one here, I'm not going to go through every single slide of this by any stretch. In our action plan that you've tolerated for me for the last 6 months, we put a target out here to get a draft document, and this is not intended for anything but for you to look at your leisure. The way the business plan gets structured is there's some contextual overview in the front end of the document, but in the very, very tail end of this packet, you will see some really, really nitty-gritty details. And that's what the staff and I use to kind of project out various projects and programs with some targets for completion. And I would encourage you to go through this and certainly welcome any questions, feedback in it. We would be bringing this back for further discussion after first of the year. On the heels of our audit presentation there, as I've talked to all of you at one time or another, with the changes in the business activity on the airport, we do contemplate coming back after first of the year with an actual budget amendment, not a budget adjustment. And in fact, our audit team has been engaged in preparation for that, because with the increased air cargo activity at the airport, we do need to update the way we are projecting our cost centers and expenditures on the airport. And with your feedback on this document, we may weave in additional programs at that time as well. So it really is intended to be a receive and file at this juncture, and encourage you to peruse it at your leisure. Of course, if you have any particular questions, feedback, comments, hey, why is this not in here? The staff and I are ready to receive and implement. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Are there any questions? All right, item number 10, consider and discuss the updated action plan. Mr. Burrows?
Okay, so we are in December. You just got the Reader's Digest version of the business plan report and update. But with that, we will be updating the next 6-month forecast with your priorities going forward. And so you'll see that at the January meeting. Happy to answer any questions, but again, thank you for a very busy but active first part of the year.
Very good. We thank you, Mike, and appreciate all your hard work this year. It's been a great year to work with you. Moving on to our open session public comment. Are there any public comment speakers? Any speaker slips? All right. Any commission member comments?
Just a quick update. We were invited to the UAE national holiday or celebration, their equivalent of Independence Day on December the 2nd, and also for the government of Qatar. Fortunately, nobody else from the airport was able to attend, so I actually attended the one for the UAE at the Museum of Tolerance, and for the Qatar at the residence. And we updated the consul on our recent trip to Dubai and the Dubai Air Show and what we transpired there. And then at the Qatar event, I met with a number of consuls and actually folks who may actually be using the airport for customs. So continue to network, and they're eager to come see the airport. Some of these folks haven't come seen us, so hopefully we'll get them to come out here. Thank you.
Very good. Are there any other commission member comments?
We're a little confused down here. That when you mentioned, Commissioner Popescu, that you got an invitation, when you say we, did we get,
Yeah.
we're unfamiliar.
Yeah, I received it here at the airport.
Okay.
In letter format. And I had asked Mike if he was able to attend, and he couldn't. I had asked the mayor, he was able to attend. I've asked other commissioners in the past, nobody's been willing, so I've stopped asking, so I just go.
Oh, well, I would,
We'll
Yeah,
let
I
the-
would-
Well, you're more than welcome to. Trust me, there's opportunities to attend lots of events. In fact,
We're
I would
attending
love
an
for you
event
to,
tonight.
yeah, I would love for you to attend, just so you can see what we do and why we're doing it.
Mike, I think you should be the one putting the invite out and advising the commission of what's going on instead of,
To all the commissioners.
yeah,
yes.
to all the commissioners. I don't think
thought
the
we talked
invite should
about
come
that.
from Ovi. I think it should come,
So in
you should
this
notify it.
instance, with the UAE in particular, we've had quite a number of years of interaction, and Commissioner Popescu got a personal invitation from the Consul General. That's different than a meeting or conference, but to the extent we get general invitations, I can certainly do that. In
Thank
this
you.
case, it was personally addressed to Commissioner Popescu.
Okay, very
Thank
good.
you.
Are there any other commission member comments? Okay, happy holidays, everybody. We wish you safe and joyous times with your family. Unless otherwise noticed, this meeting will be adjourned to the next meeting of the San Bernardino International Airport Authority on Wednesday, January 22, 2020.
is it
This meeting's adjourned.
January 20? Thank you.
But then we have a meeting.